The Senate voted massively in favor of increasing the military spending by $700 billion over the next 10 years, including Elizabeth Warren. Now, here's an interesting article. This was one that you're probably not going to hear much about. It's from The Intercept, and it's super interesting and important because I want to set this precedent for you guys, because this is a clear-cut example of what we are talking about when we say that if you were to cut the military spending, you could use it on the things that people claim are impossible, like single-payer healthcare and free college. So the Senate's military spending increase by itself is enough to make public college free, absolutely free. So this is a great article from The Intercept. I recommend you go check it out. Now, here's what The Intercept say. They say, those concerns were brushed aside Monday night as the Senate overwhelmingly approved an $80 billion annual increase in military spending, enough to have fully satisfied Sanders' campaign promise. Instead, the Senate handed President Donald Trump far more than the $54 billion he asked for. The lavish spending package gives Trump a major legislative victory, allowing him to boast about fulfilling his promise of a, quote, great rebuilding of the armed services. The bill would set the U.S.'s annual military budget at around $700 billion, putting it within range of matching the spending level at the height of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. To put that in further perspective, if the U.S. package becomes law, U.S. military spending would exceed the total spending of its next 10 rivals put together, going off of 2016 military spending estimates. Put another way, with a $700 billion military budget, the U.S. would be spending more than 3 times as much as China on its military and 10 times as much as Russia. Now, here's what they say. They say, or with $80 billion a year, you could make public colleges and universities in the United States tuition-free. In fact, Sanders' proposal was only estimated to cost the federal government $47 billion per year. So you're talking about $80 billion increase, and you're looking at here, what you're looking at here is $47 billion being the estimate. So nearly half of the annual increase will be able to fund the free tuition for colleges. So when people say all this kind of dumb stuff, and I've had some neoliberals tell me a lot about, like, oh, this would be a terrible idea and all that stuff. This would be so great. Could you imagine how much that would benefit the country? Do you have any idea how many people would then be free of the burden of getting a better education? They're going to be able to then get a much higher level job to pay so much more taxes into the system, and the system will continue growing, and that's how you have a bigger, stronger, healthier, and bigger economy like California does. You get a good job, you pay more in taxes, you make more money, you spend your money on things, and that's how you keep the economy moving. Imagine how many people are going to start businesses, how many new ideas we're going to have, how many people are going to be freed of this horrific debt that's holding them down. And it's really crazy that in this country we really can't manage to make these things called tuition free. Countries like Germany is tuition free, and in other countries they're not even expensive at all, and that's often the major difference. So they also say, here's another thing that they say, if the additional military spending over the next 10 years went to pay off student debt, so remember, it's the additional money for the next 10 years that they voted on, it could come close to wiping out the debt, student debt, entirely. So you would be not only making it so that the next generation of people are able to get college tuition free, but also that you would be able to wipe out student debt entirely. Now, what are the kind of benefits that we get with building up the military? In the country, not really much, to be honest. And it's really, truly remarkable that something like this is looked at as crazy when this military spending was passed so easily through the Senate, and somehow the free tuition free college is somehow like, oh, that's fucking crazy. That's socialist. That's so stupid. Support independent progressive media by leaving a subscription down below, leave a like and share the video. Help us out on Patreon, or you can donate in other ways. Links are in the description down below. We are fighting Trump tooth and nail, and we will continue to do so with your help.